They call her dangerous. And that's not just a nickname, it's a direct warning to anyone who steps into the cage against her. Born to fight, with a technique honed since early childhood, Dakota Ditcheva isn't just another prospect. She's a phenomenon. The blood of champions flows through her veins, and her strikes carry the kind of power that can shatter any defense. Right now, she's storming the summit of one of the world's biggest promotions, leaving a trail of defeated opponents in her wake. But how did her journey truly begin? What drives this young woman to fight with such cold-blooded ferocity? Today, we tell you the story of Dakota Ditcheva, from a little girl standing in the shadow of her legendary mother to an undefeated master. And most importantly, we'll showcase her best and most brutal finishes. Brace yourselves, this is going to be intense. Dakota was born in Sale, England, and her destiny was seemingly sealed before she even took her first breath. Her mother is Lisa Howarth, a true legend in the world of combat sports, a multiple-time world champion in kickboxing and Muay Thai. Just imagine a childhood where the sounds of heavy bags being hit were your lullabies, and boxing gloves were your toys. Dakota literally grew up in the gym. She knew no other life. While her peers were playing with dolls, she was already mastering the fundamentals of Muay Thai under her mother's expert guidance. This wasn't something forced upon her, it was her natural environment. Unlike many fighters who come to the sport from the streets or out of necessity, Dakota was surrounded by elite professionalism from the very beginning. Her mother was not only her coach but her chief mentor, instilling in her not just technique, but the unshakable psychology of a champion. She taught her not just how to strike, but how to think inside the cage, how to read an opponent, and how to land the perfect shot at the perfect moment. And this foundation, laid in her earliest years, would soon bear fruit, transforming a sweet-looking girl into an absolute monster. Indifference towards school, not in her case. Dakota was focused, just not on traditional subjects. Her real university was the ring. As a teenager, she began to completely dominate the amateur Muay Thai scene, a 3-time junior world champion, all before she even turned 18. She traveled the globe, from Thailand to all over Europe, collecting medals and priceless experience. Even then, her style stood out. While many fighters her age relied on pure aggression, Dakota displayed a maturity far beyond her years. She was technical, calculated, and possessed an innate sense of distance and timing. Every fight was like a chess match where the checkmate was always a precise and devastating strike. She became a true star in the world of Thai boxing, but Dakota felt she had hit a ceiling. She needed a new challenge, a more complex game, where she could unleash her full potential. The answer was obvious: mixed martial arts. However, transitioning to Muay isn't just about changing gloves. It's a completely different world. A world where elite Muay Thai, on its own, is not enough. She would now have to face wrestling, grappling, submissions, everything she had never encountered before. Countless brilliant strikers have been broken. Unable to adapt to this new reality, Dakota faced the biggest question of her career. Could she evolve from an elite striker into a complete MMA fighter? She knew it would be difficult. She had to become a student all over again. Every single day was spent learning how to defend takedowns, how to work off her back. There were moments when she was completely outmatched on the ground, and it was a blow to her ego. But she knew exactly why she was doing it. She moved to Manchester and joined the team at Next Generation Muay, one of the best gyms in the UK. There, under the guidance of experienced coaches, she began the painstaking process of strengthening her weaknesses. Day by day, sparring session by sparring session, she was turning her Achilles heel into just another weapon. The world of Muay had no idea what kind of threat was quietly brewing in the gyms of England. In 2021, at the age of 22, Dakota Ditcheva was ready to make her statement. She made her professional Muay debut, and while her name was already known in Muay Thai circles, in the world of mixed martial arts, she was a dark horse. Her opponents saw only a striker, and surely planned to drag the fight to the ground. But they were dead wrong. Her debut lasted just 56 seconds. A knockout via a brutal knee to the body. This wasn't just a statement, it was an ultimatum to the entire division. Ditcheva didn't just arrive in March, she arrived to dominate. Over the next year and a half, she fought 4 more times in various European promotions, and the result was always the same: total annihilation. 5 fights, 5 wins, with 4 of them ending in the very first round. She left no doubt. Her fights were like masterclass demonstrations. She dismantled her opponents with surgical precision, knockouts from body shots, vicious head kicks, powerful hand combinations. Her arsenal was vast and devastating. But even with these decisive victories, skeptics found reasons to doubt. Sure, she's a phenomenal striker, they'd say. But look at her level of competition. No one has even tried to truly test her grappling. What happens when she finally faces an elite wrestler? And that question hung heavy in the air. Dakota knew that to prove she was truly one of the best, she needed to reach the next level. She needed a platform where the world's best fighters compete for a title and life-changing money. And that platform found her. In 2022, Dakota Ditcheva signed a contract with one of the most competitive leagues in the world, the Professional Fighters League, the PFL. The PFL is more than just a promotion. It's a league with a unique format, a regular season, a grueling playoff, and a final championship where a world title and a $1 million check are on the line. There's no picking easy fights here. To become the champion, you have to beat everyone in your path. For Dakota, it was the perfect opportunity to silence all the critics and prove that she was a complete elite fighter. Her hunt for $1 million had officially begun. Making your PFL debut always comes with immense pressure. The bright lights, the massive audience, and opponents who don't forgive mistakes. Ditcheva's first test on American soil was against Marcos Hasnagaba, and the entire world was watching with one question in mind. Okay, are we finally going to see her ground game? From the first second, Dakota showed everyone who the Predator was. She didn't wait or hesitate. She took the center of the cage and began to pick her opponents apart from a distance, with perfect jabs and powerful low kicks. But then, the moment of truth arrived. Gaba shot in for a takedown. Perfect defense. Dakota didn't just stuff the takedown, she did it with ease. As if she'd been defending them her whole life. She proved that the countless hours spent drilling her wrestling defense had paid off. And then, she did what she does best. Just over a minute. A brutal knockout. It was the definitive answer to every single skeptic. Dakota couldn't only defend against wrestling, she punished you for even trying. This performance became her new calling card. She wasn't just a striker. She was a well-rounded fighter with a killer instinct. That victory was the start of her dominant run in the PFL. She wasn't just winning, she was destroying. Next on her path was Catherine Corrigines. And it was the same story all over again. Dakota completely read her opponent. As soon as the right moment came, she delivered the final blow. Another first-round knockout. It seemed like she was unstoppable. With every fight, she looked more confident, more dangerous. She had adapted to the PFL format and felt completely at home in the cage. But ahead of her lay the greatest challenges yet, the playoffs, where the price of a single mistake skyrockets, and the opponents get even tougher. Could she maintain her perfect record on the path to the finals? The PFL playoffs are a meat grinder. The format demands you to be at your absolute peak, because there is no more room for error. In the 2023 semifinals, Dakota was matched against the highly experienced Valentina Scottizzi, a seasoned Italian fighter known for her toughness. This was the exact test the critics had been waiting for, an elite striker versus a durable, gritty opponent who wouldn't go down easily. From the very beginning of the fight, Scottizzi did what everyone expected. She tried to make it a brawl. She pressed forward, clinched, and tried to wear Dakota down against the fence. The first few minutes were a true test of Ditcheva's composure and strength. She had to showcase everything she had learned in the clinch. She bent, but she didn't break. Every time it seemed like Scottizzi might gain an advantage, Dakota would land sharp, painful knees to the body, draining her opponent's gas tank. She weathered the early storm, showing a veteran's patience. And then, once Skotitsy's relentless pressure began to fade, Ditcheva found her moment. She smelled blood. As soon as she created distance, it was a different story. The tired Skotitsy became a stationary target for a fresh and hungry Ditcheva. A vicious body shot sent the Italian crumbling to the canvas. The referee had seen enough. A technical knockout. It was the most significant victory of her career up to that point. She didn't just win, she won a grueling fight against a tough-as-nails veteran. She endured the pressure, outmuscled her opponent in the clinch, and finished her with brutal precision. All remaining questions were answered. Dakota Ditcheva had proven she was a real threat to any fighter in the world, in any phase of the game. She was headed to the finals. Just one more step stood between her, the $1 million prize, and the championship belt. But that final step promised to be the hardest one yet. The night of the championship, the culmination of an entire season's work, all leading to this one moment. In the final, she faced her toughest challenge yet, Valentina Skotitsy, a battle-hardened veteran with a granite chin and a warrior's heart. This was it. The PFL Europe Championship and a six-figure prize were on the line. But more importantly, this was for a ticket to the global stage, a chance to hunt for the $1 million prize. As the fight began, the tension was electric. Skotitsy, knowing she couldn't win a technical striking battle from a distance, tried to turn it into a gritty, close-quarters war. She pressed forward, attempting to smother Dakota against the cage. But this was a new, evolved version of Ditcheva. She was physically stronger. Her clinch work was sharp, and her defense was impenetrable. She met fire with fire, controlling the clinch and punishing Skotitsy with brutal knees to the body that echoed through the arena. Every time they separated, Dakota's precision was on full display. She landed clean, hard shots, systematically breaking her opponent down. Then, in a flurry of strikes, a perfectly placed elbow sliced open a deep cut over Skotitsy's eye. The damage was done. The doctor was called in to inspect the cut between rounds. Despite Skotitsy's pleas to continue, the fight was waved off. It wasn't the walk-off knockout the crowd had come to expect, but in a way, it was even more terrifying. She hadn't just put her opponent to sleep, she had inflicted so much damage with her surgical striking that the fight had to be stopped for her opponent's own safety. Dakota Ditcheva was crowned the inaugural PFL Europe Women's Flyweight Champion. She had done it. She had conquered Europe. But as the championship belt was wrapped around her waist, she knew this wasn't the final destination. This was just the beginning. She had proven she was a queen in Europe. But now it was time to cross the ocean and hunt in the jungle of the PFL's global season. The $1 million prize was now within reach. The PFL's global season. This is the big league. The tournament where the best fighters from around the world clash for the ultimate prize of $1 million. Dakota Ditcheva entered the 2024 season not as a rising prospect, but as the reigning PFL Europe champion. She now had a target on her back, but a question lingered in the minds of fans and analysts. Would the skills that made her a queen in Europe be enough to conquer the world? Her first opponent in the regular season was the tough American veteran, Lisa Malden. This was Dakota's official introduction to the global roster, a chance to prove that her dominance wasn't limited to one continent. The pressure was immense, but as the cage door locked, Ditcheva looked calmer and more focused than ever. It didn't take long for the mole world to get its answer. From the opening bell, Dakota was in complete control. She stalked Malden, cutting off the cage and firing off crisp, punishing combinations. She was patient, methodical, and waiting for the perfect opening. And then it came. A perfectly timed kick to the liver. The shot landed with a sickening thud that echoed through the arena. You could almost see the energy drain from Malden's body as she crumpled to the mat in agony. No follow-up was needed. The referee rushed in to stop the fight. It was another flawless first-round finish. It was a message to the entire flyweight division. The huntress from England was not here to just compete, she was here to take over. One dominant win down, earning her the maximum 6 points. But the regular season was far from over. To secure her spot in the playoffs and continue her hunt for the $1 million, she needed another spectacular performance, and the whole world was now watching. With a dominant 6-point finish already secured, the pressure was slightly off for Dakota's second regular season fight. She had all but guaranteed her spot in the playoffs. Her opponent was another seasoned fighter, Chelsea Hackett. For many fighters, this would be a moment to play it safe, to cruise to a decision victory and avoid injury before the grueling playoffs. But playing it safe is not in Dakota Ditcheva's vocabulary. She walked into the cage with the same cold-blooded focus as always. This wasn't about just winning, this was about making another statement. This was about proving that her first round finish wasn't a fluke. It was the standard, and she delivered. Once again, it was a masterclass in striking. She moved with a fluid, predatory grace, her footwork keeping her just out of range, while allowing her to land devastating strikes. She controlled the center of the cage, forcing Hackett onto the defensive from the opening second. Then, she unleashed the weapon that has become her signature, a devastating knee to the body. The impact was immense. Hackett's body seized up, and she fell to the canvas, unable to recover. The referee immediately stepped in. Another first-round finish. Another 6 points. It was a picture-perfect regular season. 2 fights. 2 first-round knockouts. 12 points. She didn't just qualify for the playoffs, she stormed into them as the number 1 seed, the undeniable favorite to win it all. She looked unstoppable, a puzzle that no one in the division seemed to have an answer for. But the playoffs are a different beast entirely. Now, she would be facing the best of the best, fighters who had also battled their way to the top. The real test was about to begin. The PFL semifinals. One win away from a shot at the $1 million championship. The pressure is at its absolute peak. Her opponent was Gina Bishop, an elite grappler and a world-class submission specialist. This was it, the ultimate stylistic nightmare. The one test that critics had always pointed to as Dakota's potential downfall. A hyper-dangerous grappler whose only goal would be to drag the fight into deep waters. From the opening bell, Bishop's game plan was clear and desperate. Get this fight to the ground by any means necessary. She shot for takedown after takedown, relentlessly pursuing the clinch, trying to entangle Dakota in her world. But this was not the same fighter who had entered mode just a few years ago. This was a seasoned, complete martial artist. Dakota's takedown defense was a fortress. She stayed calm under pressure, stuffing Bishop's attempts and punishing her with sharp strikes on the break. The frustration on Bishop's face began to grow. She shot in again, but this time, Dakota was ready to make her pay the ultimate price. She stuffed the takedown and immediately locked up a front headlock, and from that dominant position, she unleashed a single, devastating elbow that landed flush. Bishop was stunned. It was the beginning of the end. Dakota followed her to the mat, raining down a torrent of precise, powerful punches until the referee was forced to jump in and stop the fight. She had done it. She had faced the most dangerous grappler in the entire tournament, and had not just beaten her, she had finished her. She met the specialist in her world and destroyed her. All doubts, all questions, were definitively erased. Now, only one fight remains. One final opponent stands between Dakota Ditcheva, a perfect record, and the $1 million prize. And so, here she stands, on the brink of history. From the little girl training in the shadow of a legend to the most feared woman in the Professional Fighters League, she has answered every question and silenced every critic. Can she be taken down and controlled? She proved she can't. Can she handle a world-class submission artist? She proved she can knock them out. Today, Dakota Ditcheva has all the makings of Muay's next global superstar. An undefeated record, a fan-friendly style built on spectacular, violent finishes, and a champion's mindset that was forged in her DNA. The only obstacle remaining to prove she is the best is to win the one fight that matters most. The $1 million prize and the World Championship are now just one victory away. But her journey won't end there. To become a legend, you must beat the legends. The entire world is now watching, waiting to see if the unstoppable force from England can complete her quest and take her place on the throne. She doesn't just believe she can win, she has been preparing for this moment her entire life. It is not just a goal, it is her destiny. As she once said, reflecting on her journey, "I feel like I'm living the life I was always meant to live. I've known since I was a little girl that I would be a world champion. Now, it's time to make it a reality."